I am telling you, Black Box had me shook. Hey, it's Kristen, and today we are talking about the first two films being dropped in Amazon Studios' Welcome to the Blumhouse anthology. The first film, Black Box, follows a single father undergoing an experimental treatment that causes him to question who he really is after losing his memory and his wife in a car accident. And the second film, The Lie, follows two parents desperate to cover up their daughter's horrific crime after she confesses to impulsively killing her best friend. Consider subscribing if you like my videos, and drop down in the comments and let me know your thoughts on the upcoming Welcome to the Blumhouse anthology. There are so many wild-looking horror films coming out for October through them, and I am super excited for them. These first two movies got me really pumped to see the rest. Now, let's start off with Black Box, because this is one that really fascinated me. So this film, we're following a man named Nolan. He was in a car accident 2 years ago that really messed up his brain. He is having a lot of problems remembering things and kind of getting back to normal life, and he lives with his daughter Ava, who's very young but is sort of kind of taking on this role of being like a motherly figure to him. You know, she's the one that's like, okay, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, come on dad, let's get things done. He decides to go through with this experimental treatment to kind of figure out, you know, if he can get into his memories and tap into that, and maybe that'll help him. At the same time, while he's struggling with this, he also keeps seeing this like very twisted kind of creature that they call the backwards man, and you know, he doesn't really know what it is, but we sort of have this idea that maybe this is his memories trying to, you know, come back, or maybe his brain trying to protect him from remembering something horrible. What was so fascinating about this film was that it was going in this direction that felt really predictable, and then out of nowhere it completely switched gears, and it turns out what we think we know is not true. And then even further in, we get another reveal that just takes the story to another level to me. I think this story dove very well into a lot of different themes: societal pressures of being a good parent or a good son, the idea of losing someone and is it possible to get them back, the idea of playing God and how that causes so much horror. We also dive into this person not knowing who they are, and kind of there are like these two sides at war in a way. I think they did a really great job of setting up hints throughout the film of things that once you find out all these different reveals, you look back and you're like, oh man, yeah, they were hinting at that the whole time. It made so much sense, and I thought this was really brilliantly done. I really enjoyed this one. I think they had a really great cast as well. Bermuda, who does a really great job of just playing these kind of different sides of this man, and Felicia Rashad, who, you know, is known as America's Mother, I think, coming in and playing a role that kind of twist that idea on its head. And I think that there's also just a really strong story of family in this film, especially in the relationship between Nolan and his daughter. And ooh, there was a scene, you know, she wrote "Don't forget me" on his hand. I was crying, man. This movie just took me on a roller coaster up and down of emotions, and by the end I think it was a really satisfying ending, but also kind of hinted that like maybe there could be a sequel, which I would be down to see. With Black Box, I just really loved the themes and the way that they hinted at everything, and it just all came together, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is a movie you gotta look out for. Definitely recommend checking this one out. And let's get into the second film, which is The Lie. This film I felt was a bit more predictable, but I do think that there were really solid performances from Joey King and Muriel Enos and Peter Sarsgaard. This was a story about a girl who comes from a broken family. You know, her parents are not together anymore, and she and her friend are off to a ballet kind of camp for the weekend. On the road, end up stopping to go to the bathroom, and the friend disappears. The character that Joey King plays, Kayla, says that she pushed her friend, and she tells her parents what happened, and that she sort of pushed this girl on purpose. And we get to dive into this really intense story of like these two people who, you know, were not on the same side, now trying to come together, and kind of diving into these ideas of like, how far will you go to protect your daughter? There is a twist that I saw coming a mile away, and it was kind of like obvious, I thought, but by the end you also get this really powerful performance from Joey King, kind of telling her parents everything really progressed even further just because she was seeing her parents come together, and she was so happy that they were, you know, sort of being a family again in a way throughout these difficult times. It was kind of like a really twisted Parent Trap, if you will. While this one wasn't my favorite, I think that if you're a Joey King fan, you might want to check it out just because she's in it. But like I mentioned, it does get pretty predictable. I will say I preferred Black Box. I thought that one just really went to places that I wasn't expecting, but I'm really very excited to see what else Welcome to the Blumhouse has in store for us, because, you know, this is the perfect time. It's spooky season, we're in October, and I'm just ready for all of these very twisty horror genre films. So if you guys like this one, you can check out more of my movie reviews right over here, and I will catch you in my next video. See ya!